Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Play the Hits. This is Lunar, Silver Star, Harmony, and Nick. How do we follow last episode?
How on earth do they get 12 grams of sugar into 8 ounces of a cup of milk? This is insanity.
Sugar is the principal ingredient.
And that's before I put chocolate into it. Well, anyways, how's your night going? Because I guess I'm going to go into diabetic shock.
Yeah, right. We just fucking talked to Ramus, and he told us to go see Master Mel. Now you're telling us to go see Ramus. Nick, I'm doing great, but I gotta say, not as great as 10-year-old Jaden Carr of San Antonio, Texas. Do you know why Jaden Carr is having such a wonderful day?
Is this the kid who cashed in his 2 shares of GameStop this week?
Yes! You read that story?
I heard of it. I didn't know that was his name. I just took a stab in the dark.
No, I was just browsing my phone in between the episode here while you were getting your snack. And I saw that this kid in 2019, his mom gave him 10 shares in GameStop to, teach him a little bit about the stock market and how things work. And okay, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do, Luna? And so she gave him this just as kind of a teachable moment sort of thing.
Yeah, because
and all of a sudden his stock is fucking exploding.
Yeah, didn't he make I think $2,500 off of it?
Yeah, $3,200 actually.
Wow.
Okay,
doesn't this whole GameStop saga just make you angry?
Angry? No, I think it's fucking hilarious.
Because it's like, where was I? Where was I when all this happened? How come I didn't buy a couple shares of GameStop?
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair.
It's like every time everyone suddenly gets rich, I guess I'm out taking a whiz or something when these get-rich-quick schemes, come to light. I didn't put money in Microsoft. I didn't put money in Tesla. I didn't put money in GameStop.
This is so infuriating. What do you want me to do?
I heard a lot of bad things about this place.
I'm trying to talk to the owner, but he's got his bodyguard here in the way. Or daughter, whatever.
Bodydaughter?
Bodydaughter. Daughter guard.
I don't even want to put context to that.
Bodydaughter. That sounds like a Japanese love pillow concept, doesn't it? Bodydaughter.
Right up my nose, thank you.
Sorry. Oni-chan!
Bring me my Bodydaughter.
Bodydaughter.
I feel like you're sitting there watching a kung fu movie, and that's just a line that doesn't translate, so it's just straight up in English.
Bodydaughter.
Onisama una Bodydaughter.
Omae wa.
Wow, so instead of last time where we found the title at the very last minute, we're getting our title at the beginning of this episode.
Oh, shit. Oh, man.
It's one of those weird things, too, that where you say it doesn't initially sound dirty.
But then the more you think of it, yeah.
No, yeah, the more you say it, it's like, well, it can't be anything but dirty.
People keep telling me to go see Master Mel. I want to see Master Mel. Luna does not want to see fucking Master Mel. So,
oh god, and all this stuff is going to end up being cut because Chris is going to wander around for 15 minutes, and we don't want that on camera.
All right, let's translate into the B conversation here until I figure out where the fuck to go to see Mel.
Well, you probably got to read, so,
it dawns on me, Nick.
Yeah?
Maybe this isn't Master Mel's house. This might be the exit of the town.
Well, would you think Master Mel lives under a bridge?
He's the
because that's what it looks like where you're going. Unless that's like a really big ass door.
Yeah, no, I think I just assumed that was Master Mel's house. That was not Master Mel's house.
I've been there before.
Here we go. Probably the one with the fountains and the...
Oh, Lord.
God damn it.
You can tell this guy put money in GameStop.
Shrewd. They call him Master Mel because of his masterful investments.
Now you can tell this is just some up jump battery repairman who
Right.
you know.
There he is.
Like, not what I would picture a Mel to look like. He's
Yeah,
got an
that
axe
shirt's
through
way
his
too
head.
tight for a Mel.
He's got like one of those funny arrow
I've not seen the
helmets.
likes of you before. You better listen and listen well, because I'm only gonna tell you this once. If you dare make trouble in me city, I'll pop your heads up your twiggy little necks and mount them on me trophy wall.
Boy, that was the most Scottish thing I've ever heard since I visited the Urn Brew factory.
What? Oh, maybe he doesn't really have an axe through his head. Maybe it was just the perspective.
Just the perspective.
Even
look
though
at
the
this
axe is
appeared
on
in
the
this
other
angle.
wall.
Here he's just got lovely curtains.
Yeah, boy, hope someone got fired for that continuity error.
Seriously. Unacceptable. Nick,
In order
speaking-
for that to... What?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You first.
No, you go. No.
No.
Oh, God. Another 5 minutes of this.
All right, rock, paper, scissors.
All right, but I'm going to throw a rock.
Wait,
Ready?
we can't see each other, can we?
We'll just have to work on the honor system.
Okay.
Right.
Rock, paper,
Rock,
scissors, match.
paper, scissors, shoot. All right, I threw rock. What'd you throw?
I threw paper.
Liar.
Son of a bitch. What I
Wait.
was going to say is concerning Urn Brew, what's your favorite foreign beverage?
You know what? As much as I like to try to think I'm a snob, I hate sake. Absolutely detest sake.
Interesting.
Um,
I'm not crazy about sake either, but yeah. Go on, though. I want to hear why you hate it.
oh, I just think it tastes nasty.
It doesn't taste good.
Um,
In case you were
well,
looking
what
for some
pure?
pearls of wisdom from Nick. Yeah, it doesn't taste very good.
It just doesn't taste good, you know? And it's just like I know a couple people who do drink it, and it's like, it can't really taste that good. You're just saying that because it's Japanese and it makes you feel elevated.
And you like to drink, and you like to eat plums, so why wouldn't you like plum wine?
There is, you know, just because it's foreign doesn't make it good. Like, this could be their Budweiser equivalent, you know?
Right. That's true. Sake kind of runs the whole gamut in Japan, where you get your good sakes and your cheap sakes. Like the kind that I got, I don't know if it was good or not so good, but it was really cloudy, and I was not a fan.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to pick something just on a
Oh wow,
whim,
milk could
like,
kill me.
like what was it? Your favorite beverage? You said?
Yeah, your favorite foreign beverage.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's really nothing fancy to it. It would just have to be a good old-fashioned Guinness.
Okay, Guinness is good shit. Urn
Oh.
Brew is just like an orange soda, but it's
Oh.
delicious.
I'll throw in a. I'll also say that I happen to really enjoy ramen soda.
Yeah, I was gonna say those like bubble sodas that you get in Chinese supermarkets are always delicious. But I gotta
Yeah.
say, and this is probably about the most generic answer you could give, but I love me a good Mexican Coke. A cola.
No, it's funny you. It's funny because I just had one and made that same joke today.
Nice.
I just had a Mexican Coca-Cola right before we started streaming.
Nice.
I actually built my entire day around it.
You know, like it's a cliche, but damned if it doesn't actually taste a whole lot better when you use actual sugar instead of corn syrup.
Yeah, and it's got more of a bit of a caramely taste. So
It
yeah,
actually
I
tastes like a treat instead of like I don't have anything else to drink, so I'm gonna grab a Coke.
it was wonderful. I popped one of those open, put it on ice, fired up Stardew Valley, and watched the new episode of Best of the Worst. It was a perfect evening.
Stardew Valley. When are you letting me hop in on your world, Nick?
Well, hey, Ben 10.
Hey, Ben 10.
I
accurate.
just realized I have like 300 hours on my game. No, you killed Mel.
Wait, this
You
isn't how
killed
it was
Mel.
supposed to go. He was our friend. Alex gets
Oh,
like a little carried away. He takes it too far. No. This wasn't a training session, old man. I have surpassed you. I rule Maribia now. What? Alex, no. Please. Anywho, sorry. Did you have more to add on that? I feel like I cut you off again.
No, sorry. I just got a really weird message on my phone. I was looking at that. So you said you liked orange soda is your favorite foreign beverage. Not to be confused with Fanta, which was made by the Nazis. I'm sure that's not what you were referring to.
You told me about that. No, I think Ernbro, and I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing that right, is just the Scottish equivalent to Fanta. It's just a bubbly, orangey beverage. I've only ever had it like once or twice, but sometimes you can find it in like the international section of kind of like decent Whole Foods markets sort of thing.
Yeah, if only there was one of those around here.
Well, you heard about Lucky's closing, right?
Oh, yeah, I felt that.
Our family still hasn't recovered from that.
Yeah, like the Death Star blowing up whatever planet that was. I felt that.
You know, with all the billions of lives that were suddenly snuffed out. Well, you know, that one. You know, not Mustafar, that one.
Impactful enough to where it's in my box of references, but still dismissive enough of Star Wars to where I can't be bothered to learn the planet's name.
Personally, I prefer the planets that didn't get blown up.
I was gonna say Antaram, but that's Mass Effect.
I think Alderaan has a little bit of a similarity with that. Yeah.
Oh, a lot of maids in this castle.
Well, Mel's got a lot of needs.
They all look the same. Do you think they're like
Mel has a type.
Oh Lord. Oh no.
I like he's like really OCD. He has to have everything be extremely uniform or he just can't. Like he can't enjoy a meal unless there's like 3 blue-haired waitresses like all ready to serve.
Everything
the
has
same
to be
exact clothing.
symmetric.
Right. Oh god, she parted her hair on the right side instead of the left. What the fuck?
It's like when
meltdown.
It's like when you have like a historical figure you really admire, and then you find out like they have some sort of quirk where they're just like a horrible person.
Right.
You know, like J.P. Morgan would like roast orphans over an open fire for his own amusement.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Gandhi and his heroin habit.
Gandhi had a heroin habit?
Gandhi had a heroin habit. You heard it here on Play the Hits.
I know that he really liked prostitutes.
Well, I mean, I think they were temple prostitutes. I'm not sure if that's the same thing.
No. He would hire prostitutes specifically to not sleep with him. They would just awkwardly lay in bed because he wanted to test whether or not he could overcome the temptation to sleep with them.
And wouldn't you know it, according to him, every time he did. All right, now, Charlotte, you're making this way too easy. Do prostitute stuff. But no, not like the touching prostitute stuff. That's all the prostitute stuff. We'll do other prostitute stuff. I'm hardly even breaking a sweat here.
Another strong candidate for episode title this evening.
God,
do prostitute stuff.
Do prostitute stuff. Oh, shit. Did you just see me kick Mel's ass? I own this dojo. This is the Alex dojo.
We didn't see anything, sir. Look,
What do you mean Alex who? I don't even have a last name. I know this episode is going to end with us going into the sewers, so I'm just trying to expedite that process. I think I have to go back and check on
I was
Ramus.
gonna say that soundtrack sounded like something out of Mario Party, like the game board overworld music, like, you know, you're hitting your block and die.
Yes, yeah, I can get.
While you're going around like Princess Peach's giant birthday cake or something.
Oh, good times. God, Mario RPG really was great.
Well, I was talking about Mario Party, but yes, that was referenced in the last episode.
It's a trope that Nintendo saw enough value in to be in more than one game.
Yes. Yeah, Mario RPG, surprisingly good game. It had a very thin plot, but less was more in that respect.
That's exactly right. It didn't have to be like you know, it didn't have to be as good as it was, for one thing. Like, they didn't have to put work in it. You could just have Mario jumping on mushrooms and you know, dancing in the Star Road something. I don't know. Instead, you know, they added characters, they gave it a overarching plot, and they wrapped it up finally.
They really mixed it up. I mean, more than just that, they had a whole new original villain, which was the first time they'd done that in a while. Bowser was on your team. Princess was on your team.
Yeah, that I think was the best twist in that entire game, unless you saw a commercial for it. But the moment Bowser joins your party, I was like, holy shit, it's fucking Bowser.
Yeah, I know, right?
See you in hell, Mallow. Mario, please, you wouldn't cut me out just like that. You bet your ass I would.
Immediately.
Gino, I swear to God, if Peach joins my party, you're on the chopping block next. Oh, it's Peach! And the B characters get retired. I think you've got yourself a deal. Oh, that's how I end up in the sewers. All right, fine, we'll sell it.
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot the whole point was to come here to sell our GameStop stock.
Right.
Because nobody in town had enough. They never thought that would happen. They never thought GameStop would be worth more than 100 silvers.
Right. Now this is the best part, though. He literally just runs off with the fucking diamond and leaves us up here like a bunch of chumps. It's like, wait a minute. I'm sure he's just counting all the money to make sure he doesn't give us too little.
This week on Pawn Stars.
Son of a bitch. Like
this would be even funnier if like their sprites were like, you know, like getting Alex, gradually more restless.
Yeah, right. Ramus is sitting on the counter eating. Alex lights a cigarette. You know, the clock keeps on moving. Son of a bitch. Please don't hurt me. I just started working here. You seem to know an awful lot. Like, how did she assume that we were gonna hurt her? You know, it's like, wait a minute.
Well, it's been 20 hours. Do we file a theft report or a missing persons report now?
I don't know, but we're gonna need a coroner for someone before this is all over.
Oh, now we're in the sewers.
Now we're in the sewers. I remember in the original, the sewers was kind of a slog, but I think they streamlined it a bit for this version, which was nice.
Man, look at those slugs just slugging out.
Doing slug stuff.
I swear that those are the same exact treasure chest sprites as the ones used in Tactics.
Damn it, I didn't heal before we came down here, so Alex has no MP. Yeah, we're gonna have to go get MP for Alex. And anything that takes more than one hit to kill isn't my style.
It's not maximally efficient.
Paunchy snake. They weren't slugs at all, Nick.
Oh, all right. Well, I can see that.
They are snakes. They do have a paunch, yeah. Shoot him, Ramus! Good job, Ramus! Fuck you, Ramus.
You know, all the things I wanted to snack on for this episode, like crunch, so yeah. I guess I'll just eat a banana when we're done here.
Nick just turns his head slightly away from the microphone for the rest of the episode and comes in real quiet. Alright. Let's go heal up real quick. Because I'm stupid. So, anything exciting going on for you this week, Nick?
No. Nothing even remotely. Just work politics that I'm desperately trying to shut out of my mind until Monday.
Yeah. We've got a guest speaker coming to talk to our circuit conference thing, which I strongly disagree with. I don't think we should be having it in person. I don't think we should be inviting a guest speaker. But
well, COVID's all one big hoax anyways. So.
Oh, yes, of course. But no, I had to sign up to be the goddamn treasurer, so I have to be there.
I remember you telling me about this.
Yeah, in order to pay the guy. So, that'll be fun.
Of course, he's gonna want money to stay in a hotel, I'm sure.
Explosive stab! We're gonna be using some of our MP items this episode, I think. That's much better. Didn't kill a single one of them, but there we go. As long as we can set up the kills, or if they happen quickly after that, we're good. So yeah, between that and starting a new round of medication that I really don't want to be on, this week's looking not the best for me either.
That doesn't sound very good at all.
No. But I guess at this point though, like, I'm sufficiently spooked enough about the potential for like a heart attack or other issues that taking the diet part of it much more seriously. I made out a list with Sarah of like things that I'm allowed and not allowing myself to have. And so if I see some results there, at the very least I should know in short order whether or not it's fully genetic or, you know, whether I can
I recently did the same thing. God, we are getting old, aren't we?
Yeah, we're so man. What kind of fiber bar do you prefer, Nick? I like Special K.
I like that I haven't gotten to
berries.
the point where I need Raisin Bran.
The fuck is this thing? Holy shit, that's an abomination. This game went from like charming to disturbing real fast. I completely forgot about these guys.
What has science created?
What hell hath you wrought, Mel? There we go. Let's explosive stab all of them at once. There we go. Fortunately, we can always kill it with fire. Alright, cool. Actually worked out pretty well. Gotta make sure we have plenty of explosive stabs left in us.
Okay, so in a previous episode, we already determined there's really no games of any note coming out this year, with the exception of Resident Evil.
And Gold
Are there
Mine.
any events transpiring this year?
Such as?
I don't know.
It's not the Olympics year, is it?
It's not, but it is.
Right. It was supposed to happen, but it's not, right?
It was supposed to happen last year, but they put it off to this year.
Ah.
Yes.
Okay. Oh yeah, 2020. Duh. Intervals. Okay. All right. Yeah. So where's it gonna be? I know nothing. Like,
Japan.
I feel like I've been completely sequestered
Japan has
from
already
anything.
bulldozed the neighborhoods to set up their Olympic stadium. They're doing this.
Wait, what country is it?
Japan.
Oh, cool. Bulldozing their ghettos.
That's what every single one of these countries do.
Let me think here. The only Olympic site I remember ever being to was in Atlanta, Georgia, and all they did there was build a giant fountain to commemorate it.
Yeah, that's not a half bad idea. You don't want to get too far into the weeds for that kind of stuff and end up like Greece.
I mean, I'm sure they probably bulldozed a few low-income neighborhoods to make it happen, but
They always
it was a beautiful
do.
fountain. It was a beautiful fountain. And it was like 150 degrees there, so it felt good to just like have water.
We're yeah, I think, you know, I can't think of anything else offhand. The James Bond movie will allegedly come out at some point this year.
Who do you like for crap, I can't think of any Olympic events, Nick.
I can't think of
Who do you like
anything.
for pole vaulting this year?
Well, you know, breakdancing is now going to be an Olympic sport because I guess we'll take anything at this point to try to be relevant.
Wasn't there one even more ridiculous now? Wasn't it like poker or something like that?
I'm
was
half
something.
tempted to say air guitaring
Air
because
guitar.
that feels like the level that we've gotten to.
Now there's something Keanu Reeves would dominate.
Is that like his thing? He like plays guitar. I don't think I've ever seen.
Have you
a
never
Keanu
seen
Reeves
Bill and
movie.
Ted's Excellent Adventure?
Oh, like when I was a child. Not
What were you
enough to
doing
really
watching
retain
Bill
those.
and Ted's Excellent Adventure when you were a child?
because it was on cable.
Yeah, that's true. Same reason we got to watch the Freddy Krueger movies when our parents went to sleep.
Those were entertaining, at least.
There was no accountability back in those days, and I loved it.
You're like trying to say it's not worse today, where they can just scroll up whatever on YouTube?
That is fair.
I mean, come on, porn on demand at the age of like 6?
I'll be right
Yeah,
back.
no
I'm gonna go
work.
take my kid's iPad. I didn't actually go anywhere. Oh, come on. Look at how these enemies are arranged. My explosive stab can't possibly explode all of
This is
them.
the worst possible arrangement these guys could be in.
Well, I can get 4 of them. I can get 4 of them. I'll have Luna and Ramus just shoot this guy to death. We're gonna be just fine, dude. It's like, come on, guys. You aren't even trying to line up for my explosive stabs anymore.
I like these little Darth Vader snails.
Darth Vader. I gotta tell. Okay, so you were right about the fucking Joker. I don't see Darth Vader here. I see
like a
Shy
little-
Guys from Mario.
Okay, sure, I'll take that. You got like a little helmet.
Okay, yeah, okay. He does have a helmet.
I hope these animations never stop.
Yeah, I know. Boy, you know, another 4 seconds of that would really hit the sweet spot if you catch my... Oh, man. So, Nick, how does one get into the body pillow industry? Because I really feel like we've got something on our hands.
Usually by accident, I just look something up, and then like the first thing that comes up is highly pornographic body pillows.
Ramus. Oh, Ramus was almost dead. Turns out Null cared a lot more about him than I do. This is literally the last time we have to use Ramus, so he can
trying
go
to
eat
think.
a fat one.
It's like every time in Final Fantasy IX when you get a guest character, and I just immediately murder them because I didn't feel like wasting EXP on
Yeah, right?
temp workers.
I'm sorry. No. Fuck you, Beatrix.
Or Marcus,
We knew
or
what
Blank.
this was. Marcus, Blank, Cena, you little punk-ass bitch with your hammer.
Yep.
Now, Cena, he was one of those intentionally weak characters, though, right?
Right.
So I'm justified in my hatred for him.
There was no point to leveling him up. That was just a waste of time.
I don't think
Though I'm
he's
sure
only
there's
with you for
someone
like
out
2
there
or
with a
3
level
battles,
99 Cena taking down Nerdtron, so...
Yeah. Marcus shows up again later when you're with Steiner and Garnett, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so he's at the very least useful for a couple battles,
But, you know, you gotta immediately murder him because the Crawler XP is just so good.
Oh yeah, that's right. Only after he steals a little bit of stuff for you, though.
Yes, you do need him to steal, I think, like, the Octagon Rod from the Giant Snake.
Look, Princess, I did it! I procured the Staff of Salvation! Have I earned your favor, my lady? Steiner's, like, right behind him. You have done well, thief.
I loved the steal system in that game.
You know, you got that was the one Final Fantasy game that I feel like steal was really worth doing.
Yes,
you got some
it
of the
was.
best items in the game there.
Yeah, unfortunately, combat never really required you to do it because fights weren't particularly challenging, but...
No. Even
They
the
could
optional
be.
boss in that game wasn't terrible. Well, I guess you had a couple optional bosses, but Ozma wasn't
There's
terrible.
only one really bad enemy to steal from. Because I think your steal tables were something like, what was it? Chances were 1 out of 8, 1 out of 32... No, it was like 1 out of 32, 1 out of 64, 1 out of 124, and then finally 1 out of 256.
Huh.
But something like that. Nah,
I
think I'm getting that mixed
never
up.
looked up like how the steal system worked in that game.
I know that the higher end tables it goes it's 1 out of 256, and it's 1 out of 124, and then it's like 1 out of 4 and 1 out of 16.
Okay.
I know this because the steel tables are very interesting.
What happens though when you
typically-
equip the thief gloves?
Yes, well that's what I'm getting to.
Uh-huh.
Okay, So the steals weren't particularly bad because once you get Master Thief, it moves the most difficult item from the back of the line to the front of the line. And there's only, I think, 4 enemies in the entire game that have a 1 out of 100 or a 1 out of 256 steal rate.
Oh, interesting.
None of them really matter except for the Hill Gygus. He has the Angel's Flute on disc 2. And he's a bitch to steal from, infamously so, because you don't have the Master Thief gloves up at that point. So it's just a straight up 156.
Oh, that does suck.
The other 3 characters who have that low drop rate are the Ark, which has Freya's Holy Lance, Garland with the Ninja Gear, and then I believe the Nova Dragon with the Grand Helm.
Okay.
All of which are a little bit more manageable because you've got the Master Thief gloves by then. I don't know why I went off on that
once you get
tirade.
those, like, stealing becomes much more, time efficient.
Garland can still be a pain in the neck, but you'll get it eventually. Yeah, there's just so many times in that game where battle would just come to a complete halt as you just wait for Zidane to steal the item you needed.
Which is interesting because that's probably the main reason that I think we haven't played that, which is for all intents and purposes the best Final Fantasy on this channel yet. Because there could potentially be entire episodes where we're just trying to fucking steal something.
Yeah, but the game is so easy to where I don't think you really need to do that for survival's sake.
If you know what to hang on to for the synthesis system, you're just fine.
Oh, I forgot about the synthesis system. Yeah, chronically scaring you into buying everything because you might need it one day.
Well, not just buying everything, buying 2 of everything.
Or 3 of everything. 2 to synthesize, 1 in case I really need it.
Yeah, right. Well, 1 for, what's that called? Is it Kadingle, the upside-down castle?
No, you're thinking of Ibsen's castle.
Ibsen's castle, where you better have hung on to your fucking Mage Masher from disc 1.
You're talking about Gingledoof's castle.
No, there's a place called Kadingle. Was that in FF9 or was that in another game?
That does not sound remotely familiar to me. Unless you're pronouncing something correctly that I was always mispronouncing in 9, which is possible.
K-A space D-I-N-G-E-L or D-I-N-G-L-E. I can't remember.
It doesn't sound familiar, but it sounds like it would be the name of that dwarf place you go to in Disc 2 on the Outer Continents.
Maybe.
But that was called something else.
You know what? You have the power of Google. Look it up for me, because that's going to drive me crazy. I feel like that was in FF9, but... No, I'm not sure.
The dwarf place, by the way, having one of the greatest scenes of all time.
Where Vivi gets married to Quina?
Yes.
Yes. I agree totally without any further qualification, but tell me what you appreciated.
No, that was it. That was exactly what it was. That was such a great character moment.
I mean, Vivi is canonically wed to whatever the hell Quina is.
That game was so progressive, you know, with Vivi marrying a non-binary character.
Right? Well, not only that, though, but, like, at the end of the game, there's little Vivis, so you know, I mean, he fucked Quina. I don't think that's canon, but it's canon for me, damn it.
Oh, God.
Alright, so help me out here. What game has Kadingle?
Spell it.
K-A space D-I-N-G-E-L.
Kadingle lever puzzle. Well, that was something from somewhere.
Okay, so it isn't a video game. At least I'm not crazy.
It's from Wild Arms.
Wild Arms. Oh,
Which
wow. I was way off.
I always get that confused with the shooter game that's a Western.
Well, Wild Arms is technically a Western, but it's like how the Japanese might view Westerns.
Kind of like how the Italian view post-apocalyptic.
Yeah. It's a Western with a healthy dose of anime. Anime.
Now I know.
Kadingle.
Wild Arms. What am I getting Wild Arms confused with? Metal Arms?
I'm not sure, but Wild Arms was an excellent little PS1 JRPG. Not to add further to your list, but... I mean... Well, shit. I just recommended to you Lufia 2, didn't I? And I like Wild Arms for a lot of the same reasons that I love Lufia 2. It's got excellent puzzle solving and dungeon design. The characters are pretty,
Wild Guns is what I'm getting confused
Wild Guns,
with.
okay, yeah.
Oh,
and the nice thing about Wild Arms is, even though it's a full series, you really only need to play the first one because it, strangely enough, managed to peak right there.
That happens with games, I notice.
Yeah. Also, sometimes it's the second entry that is the best, but yeah. For that one, it was definitely number one all the way. Two was fine. I remember it decently on the PS1. 3 is where I really got to thinking, like, wow, like maybe someone could splash a tinge of color on these tunnels that the game has me wandering through for 90% of its narrative.
But enough about Final Fantasy 13.
Boom. At least Final Fantasy 13 did have some color, yeah.
And they had some colored characters.
Did you just say colored on the internet, Nick? We're gonna get canned.
I did, only because he was such a horrible black stereotype.
Actually, wait
a second. No, he was the progressive one. I'm thinking of Barrett and every other...
Yeah, 7. No,
yeah.
Barrett was the Mr. T ripoff. Actually, Saz from FF13, for all of its flaws, I actually thought Saz was a great character.
Yeah, and now that I start thinking about it, who else am I thinking of?
The great thing about Saz was he was basically just an out-of-work dad trying to make things right for his kid.
yeah, that's right.
And like all of these like spiky-haired white people are trying to save the world. Saz just wants his boy back,
It was a slight bit of fresh air considering what's usually passes for progressive with JRPG.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. You with me, Nick?
I'm with you.
All right. Ramus is gonna charge up my MP. Alex is gonna buff his attack, and Luna's gonna heal us. And everything's gonna be all right. Her face does not seem like she should be saying la 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 la. Oh shit!
Well,
she
it's almost like it was
MP.
overdubbed.
Whoops! Wasted that thing. I didn't realize that restored HP and MP. Oh shit! He wants an actual fight. All right, Aqua Lizard. Let's go. Let's fucking dance. Nope. Luna, you're gonna be healing now, okay? We're gonna be fine, Nick.
I'm trying to think. Did I already ask you this question before? Of what was like the most? What example was like the worst situation where the difficulty in a JRPG, something like, or any game in general, suddenly ramped up on you, like out of nowhere?
Well, interestingly enough, it was a Lunar game. Lunar Eternal Blue on the Sega CD. I know this because it is the one and only Sega CD game I have ever played, and I played it entirely over the course of a week at a friend's house during summer break. About halfway through the game, you fight a boss called Borgin. Borgin is an obese black mage with 4 like spheres of defense surrounding him, but all of those spheres have like moves that can kill one or more of your party members in one hit. So like you're just coasting along and you go through like a long dungeon and suddenly you have to fight fucking Borgin and he just wipes the floor with you.
And they expected you to beat him.
I don't know what they expected. That game also had like a weird save system where you had to pay to save. Which thankfully they took out in the remake. But yeah, that was not my favorite. Keep those heels coming, Luna. I think we're okay here because Sword Dance is still wrecking its shit.
This game's ultros, huh?
Well, I think they might have expected me to level up a little bit in this dungeon, but I did not. Fortunately, I can come back down here between episodes and make things okay again for the next time that we play.
Why is it wearing a ribbon?
It is this shady shop owner's pet, apparently.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. You know how that goes sometimes. Alright, you know what? What else can I do here? Calm hostility. Whoa. Dragon. Think you're a little hostile here.
It's always like in Morrowind when you have the spell like calm, or frenzy. You could really use that to do some hilarious effects.
Like when a guard is about to kill you and then you calm down, they sheathe their sword, turn around, and you smack them right in the back of the head all over again. Man, speaking of like projects that you and I love but seem kind of infeasible for this channel, what are your thoughts on maybe just like a Morrowind play where you just do like the Dark Brotherhood arc or I don't know, what are your thoughts?
I think we've talked about this before. That game is infamously difficult to stream because there's no voice acting and the combat is very D&D-esque, in which it's more or less based. Yeah, it's based on like a roll of a die. Like, oh, you rolled, you miss.
I do remember missing a lot in that game, even though I was like inches away from my target.
Right. So, like I said, it's a game that much like how The Watchmen was almost an unfilmable movie to an extent. That's almost an unstreamable game.
Okay. I will take your word for that because since like that is one game where like
I've seen people try, believe me.
Where it's so far out of my wheelhouse. Like I played it, but I don't think I've ever even given it a proper finish, unfortunately.
And you're not going to get that by watching somebody stream it. Like, the real joy of that game just comes from, like, interacting with the world and the character stories. And
my point is, though, if it were going to be done on this channel, it would have to be done by you.
Well, yeah.
Ramus, shoot it in its fucking face!
I was trying to think of my example of when the difficulty in the game suddenly jackknifed.
I'm trying to think of any other examples. That is probably the most infamous for me because that boss was such a bitch. Borgin.
The name sounds vaguely familiar. I think that might have actually been like on a top 10 list at one point that I read. Because that sounds very familiar.
Considering how niche the original, like if anyone's played Eternal Blue, it's almost always the PS1 version. So that surprises me, but that is cool to see. Just me, or does this dragon have breasts?
Like an Argonian?
Yeah, but...
No, I'm not seeing it.
Look, below its spike collar, those are...
No, those are totally the pecs.
Some tiggle bitties.
Actually, it looks like it's like the top of a vest.
Like it's wearing a breastplate?
No, it looks like
over
the top
its
of
giant honking breasts.
It looks like it's wearing a vest. It's just got like a big ol' custom-made vest.
Yes, that's how Nick is going to be able to sleep tonight. Oh, man. Right next to his Bodydaughter.
Nice callback.
Oh, man. Bodydaughter. Have you ever been president of the United States and thought, man, I really wish I could fuck my daughter? Well, we have the solution. Sorry, I had to.
Why does it sound like an infomercial that's on at 2 in the morning?
Aimed exclusively
at former presidents who are probably sitting there at their resort
wishing
watching.
They could fuck their daughter.
Yeah. Well, he's waiting for the Mike Liddell commercial to come on.
Well, this thing doesn't want to die. Oh, look, the thing died.
That guy defended me.
Yeah, right. But wasn't a large portion of his defense now turning on him and just being like, yeah, it was just about the money? Like,
no, it was more specifically, Mike Liddell was the one who was like, the election was rigged.
Oh, yeah.
Buy my pillows.
You know, I gotta say, I don't want to...
defense team left, but there's a fascinating argument there, and that I think the best defense for Trump would be no defense, just not even play the game. But
Oh yeah, because that's something that Trump is capable of.
I don't know. With him out of the spotlight, it'd be interesting. But yeah, just to be entirely dismissive of the whole thing.
I gotta say though, I slightly disagree with you on that one. I feel like the biggest beef that I'm having so far with the Biden presidency is how much Trump still is very much in the spotlight.
Is he? I hardly even hear about him these days.
Really? Because all I hear about how Trumpism is alive and well, and how, like you have Republican senators
CNN...
going down to like have secret conferences with him. Like, what the fuck?
I think that was just McCarthy, wasn't it? And like, who cares what a governor with the last name McCarthy
No, it
does?
was what's his name? Shoot, it's one of the. It wasn't Howe, or Hal, or I don't remember. One of them who denounced him after the riot, but then doesn't want to denounce him enough to get on board with the liberal agenda. So now he's going down to Mar-a-Lago to apologize.
Well, right, because they want their cake and white supremacists too.
Why? Yeah, they want their white supremacy and eating it too. Oh shit! But no, I mean, I don't know. Like, in case you didn't know, I'm not the biggest Donald Trump fan. And
I almost thought it. Go ahead.
No, and I kind of hope that once he was out of the White House, whether Biden does a great job or a not very great job, the one thing that I could look forward to potentially was just not hearing round the clock Trump coverage.
Well, no, you can thank like CNN for that. They will. That is completely on them. I mean, you haven't heard him on Twitter because he's not on Twitter currently.
Yeah, that's true. That makes me happy.
Nice.
Good job with the explosive stab there.
I was thinking like along the lines of shocking things that could happen.
Well, the shocking thing to me is that, we still have a group of Republicans trying to pretend that Trump was just, your run-of-the-mill, above-average president who we should be consulting secretly at his golf resort for some reason.
To the surprise of nobody.
To the surprise of me, like, this is your opportunity to, like, distance yourself from this movement that is, like, actively undermining democracy. But no, they're doubling down on it.
Well, because he brought a lot of voters to the voting boxes.
Oh.
I mean, they're not going to denounce that.
I know.
These are easy votes where they don't have to work. They don't have to hold to the Republican values or even conservative values. It's
I know. And I know you say this as, like, a legitimate, like, actual principled conservative. Like this, I've been wondering, like, to like...
Why work harder than you have to?
To, like, Bush-era Republicans, does this not just, like, drive you fucking insane? Because it would drive me insane.
It did for a while until it didn't. It's like once the gangrene is that far into your arm, you just stop feeling the pain.
But like, if this is going to be like the official stance of the Republican Party, do you still consider yourself a Republican? Or like, are you something else now? Or like, is there going to be like a third option?
I think what you're looking for is a small R Republican.
Okay.
Not necessarily a big R Republican.
Because I've been wondering about this. Like, I know...
Once they start acting like Republicans, sure.
Well, right. But, like, see, I know a lot of Republicans who, are, good, decent people that certainly were not on board with Trump's outlandish and bizarre...
Well, I mean, Trump's not a Republican, period, so being with Trump isn't being a Republican.
You can say that, though, but this is exactly what the Republicans are pandering to. The Republicans in Washington
that's what they're pandering to. Right, yeah.
So, like, if this becomes, like, the mainstream definition of Republican, what do, fiscal Republicans or fiscal conservatives and Reagan-era Republicans do at this point? Like,
well, there's a lot of interesting ways you can take that. Gen Z is going to be more progressive.
So that's a non-issue. Yeah.
Gen Z is going to be more progressive. However, they do like a lot of the... Okay. They do like being able to say whatever they want whenever they want. And I think there's a lot of, Trump just kind of giving the middle finger to etiquette and political correctness that they like.
Right. That's what sold them on him originally. Yeah.
Right. This whole idea that like liberals went from being the free love, pot smoking, drug doing.
See, that's what got
party
me on
to, like,
board
these
with
bunch of
liberalism in the
pansies.
first place.
Right. Now they're just a bunch of pansies telling us what we can and can't do.
Damn.
And now
libs.
you've got the Republicans saying, no, anything goes.
You,
you've got
you
that
want to
weird
tell
reversal.
black people to go back to their continent when they've lived here as long as you? Then you go ahead and tell them. Oh,
Like I said,
what a
you
nightmare.
know. But yeah,
But no, like,
thought
so,
it'd been-
so for instance, like, there's a part of, okay, so from my perspective, here's the way I'd see it, right? Like, if, following the George Floyd murder, there was, kind of a split in the Democratic Party about what we want. Do we want police reform, or do we want to abolish the police? I
they
think,
don't know what they fucking want. They just want to scream.
right. That's what most protesters want. But I think most principled Democrats would say, no, a society without law enforcement would collapse. I mean, that's very obvious. So we don't want to abolish the police. We want to reform the police. However, if, like, the abolish the police, and, like, let's just have, like, a free love governing, you know, commune style thing, I would have to ask myself, okay, so if this is what the Democratic Party actually is, like this kind of conservative parody of the Democratic Party, like, do I still want to call myself a Democrat? And the answer for me would probably be no. I would just say I'm an independent.
Well, that's where you get into this weird area that happened with the border. The Democrats had refused to engage at the border in any capacity to the point where they basically abandoned border politics to the Republican Party.
Uh-huh.
In choosing not to engage, they completely gave the Republicans full reign to do whatever they wanted under Trump with the border, because the Democrats basically said, well, you shouldn't do that. Well,
Right.
if that's your position, there's no negotiating. I think it applies to that as well.
Okay, but for the point I think I was trying to make, and I probably wasn't as articulate about it as I could have been, was like, so whereas when faced with liberal extremism, I would no longer call myself a liberal. I feel like a lot of Republicans, when faced with Republican extremism, are just getting on board because, you know, that's how we win. Am I incorrect in that assessment?
Are you saying that the Democrats are no better than the Republicans at this point?
No, what I'm saying. No, I am pointing the finger at the Republicans right now, because whereas the Democrats tend to shy away from the most extreme impulses of liberalism, I feel like the Republicans are embracing extreme conservatism.
I mean, I don't know. Can you really say that? Because from an open border to abolishing ICE to abolishing the police to the minimum wage, a lot of those things are being talked about very seriously right now.
They are being debated, but I don't feel like there's any strong push from Democrats in office to say, yeah, let's abolish the police and throw out border security completely. Like, I don't see that conversation taking place. Whereas a few weeks ago, I did see...
But it's a part of the conversation. Go on.
A few weeks ago, though, I did see a very serious conversation taking place in the Republican Party about, like, do we accept a lawful election? Like, I mean, do we accept the results of this? And I don't get me wrong, I understand that Ted Cruz is a coward, and that was a lot of showboating on his part. But, I mean, it was serious enough that people raided the Capitol.
Congress, right?
Yeah.
Would they have actually tried to have overturned the election if they could have?
Right. Well, that's my thought. Like, I kind of wonder what had happened. Like, if they had the votes, like, if they were able to do what they claimed they were trying to, like, would they have just run with it and be like, yeah, okay, so I guess elections just don't matter anymore?
Very interesting question, and I'm glad that I don't have an answer for it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I don't know.
And again, like, I know I'm probably overly harsh on a lot of kind of token Republican issues right now, but at the same time, like, I can't fathom a universe where I would be on board with this level of, like, you know, just fuck everything, you know. it drives me nuts.
I think at a time of bizarre extremism like that, you almost have to double down. I feel that the only solution would have been for Joe Biden to pardon Trump.
Interesting.
I feel like that would have been the best move to do strategically, like how Ford pardoned Nixon. Like, we're going to move on with all this.
Yeah.
Impeachment wouldn't have worked, but now we've poured vinegar in the milk so that the whole facade of trying to work in a bipartisan manner wouldn't work anyways. Just pardon him.
Right.
You know?
I on the one hand, I agree I agree with you in terms of kind of like a sensible solution and a show of good faith towards unity with the Republicans in the Senate and Congress. However, I think the real concern there is if he does get a pardon and he continues to incite violence, where can we finally draw the line with him then?
You wait until someone important dies.
What do you mean?
I mean that's what it is. Like you wait until someone with a name like gets hurt or injured because
Oh, like so he incites another riot and like a congressional representative actually does die. Okay.
Unfortunately, we have such a disdain for the middle class. We don't care when they get beaten to death with fire extinguishers.
Yeah, right. So like just one cop, fuck that guy and his family, right?
I mean, how many people have we put through the?
It's got to be someone we recognize.
Right,
So
I completely understand with what you're saying, and I'm disgusted by it. But at the same time, you're right. I think you're right. I think he has to do something so high profile that even his magic shield can't save him from it.
He just keeps pushing those boundaries. You thought he was done when he called John McCain a loser for being a POW, but little did you know.
Or when he raped that child and bought her silence. I mean, that really seemed like a game ender, but nope.
But yeah, here we are.
But you can't prove that, though, Chris. You can't prove that.
An insurrection at the Capitol building, and it's like, well, there's two sides to every story.
Hey, Nick, we got some paperwork. Speaking of Congress.
Oh, boy. I'm just a bill.
On Capitol Hill. Yes. I'm thinking next time on Play the Hits, we fill out our paperwork and we go to fucking magic school. And no, not the Harry Potter kind.
Oh, thank God. Why has it got the Assassin's Creed symbol on the carpet?
It's exactly that kind of magic school, Nick.
Oh my, murder is magic.
This isn't the chocolate candy and, riding griffins across a pleasant lake. We're gonna go fucking learn how to kill people more efficiently.
Okay, wait a sec. Is this building in the city, or is this the floating city that we saw?
No, the floating... We just got the application to be
that was
accepted.
A teaser.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a teaser.
To be accepted into the floating city. So next time, you're gonna see the magic city of Vane, which is right... No, let's get on the world map here, Chris. Which is right...
Because if I recall correctly, this game has like a floating fortress end dungeon. And
there.
Okay.
Yes, so, well, I don't know. It's not a spoiler, especially since we've already done this game. Yeah, so Galleon, the villain eventually does get a floating fortress, which comes out of the Goddess Tower.
All a secret of mana.
Which you see right there on the top of that hill. And... Oh, wait, no, that's not the one. Okay, so he has two fortresses. The first fortress, he uses...
How many of them float?
Only one of them floats. The other one's a giant tank. The giant tank he's going to use to shoot down the Magic City, and then once he shoots down the Magic City, then he can get in his flying fortress.
I am 120% on board for all of this. That sounds amazing on paper.
It's basically just throwing fortresses at the wall to see what sticks. So next time on Play the Hits, we're going into a flying city. We will see you then, my friend.